My observation is that the people who are involved in America's national security, they take this work very seriously. They cherish our Constitution. The last thing they'd be doing is taking programs like this to listen to somebody's phone calls.
Well, that was President Obama just about 6 months ago, defending a surveillance program that collects millions of phone and internet records for the National Security Agency, or NSA. But while debate rages over the surveillance, today we heard a warning from a federal judge that could cause new headaches for the president and his security teams. Charles Krauthammer is a Fox News contributor and author of Things That Matter, #1 on the New York Times bestseller list and has been for the last 5 weeks. Charles, so now the judge has blocked this program as it relates to the 2 plaintiffs in the case, 2 telephone users who were complaining about the program. And this judge is a George W. Bush appointee. He's no left-leaning judge. He's a Bush appointee. And I just want to show the viewers what he said in issuing an injunction, which is stayed. It's stayed right now, meaning it doesn't take effect until the case is played out on appeal. But listen to him in harsh language. The Fourth Amendment is offended by general warrants and laws that allow searches to be conducted indiscriminately. I cannot imagine a more indiscriminate invasion than this systematic and high-tech collection and retention of personal data on virtually every single citizen without prior judicial approval. He goes on to say, I have little doubt that the author of the Constitution, James Madison, would be aghast. What do you make of it?
Well, I can't imagine something that would be more intrusive, and that would be if the NSA actually listened in to what was being said. Let's understand what we're talking about. We're talking about the recording of the data as to when a call is made, how long it's made, and to whom it's made. Now, the reason that this is, I think, an important case is because what we heard from the judge today, and remember, as you know, it's only court judge, which
so it's
means
a trial court level. It's going to go up to the D.C. Circuit and then the U.S. Supreme Court.
It will go to the Circuit and the Supreme Court. So this is no way conclusive, but it is a warning, as you say. And the reason it is because it seems to reverse what has been the constitutional norm since 1979. There was a case in 79, Smith versus Maryland. The Supreme Court said that there is no expectation of privacy about the data and the records of a phone call. In other words, you have an expectation of privacy as to the content of the call, but since there's a third party that already knows about the call, the length of the call, to whom it is, i.e. the phone, the company, there is no expectation that nobody will know about it. So up until now, that's been the constitutional protection under which the program has proceeded. Now, it could be that it requires revising. And we will see as the case works its way through the courts and up to the Supreme Court.
It'll be very interesting because this is going to go to the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, and President Obama has just placed 2 new judges on that court who are, more left-leaning judges. And, the left, by and large, has objected to this program. It would be so ironic if those 2 judges wound up, siding with the left and not with the president on one of his key programs. But let me just move on, because I want to ask you about Edward Snowden. He's, of course, the guy who leaked these documents that led to the exposure of this program and others. And he had a comment on this today saying, and I quote, I acted on my belief that the NSA's mass surveillance programs would not withstand a constitutional challenge. He says today, basically, if that happened, he says this ruling is the first of many.
If somebody has a constitutional belief in this country, he takes the case to court and he has it tried. He doesn't escape to China and Russia, where his secrets have undoubtedly been given wholesale over to the Chinese and the Russian security agencies, and then the claim to be a patriot. Now, look, I agree that this is not a left-right case. It isn't only the judge here who's a Bush appointee. The plaintiff is a conservative activist. And there are a lot of people, honestly, sincerely, and perhaps correctly, we're not sure right now, on the left and the right who object, libertarians on the right, civil libertarians also on the left, ACLU types, and we will see. I would like to see the resolution of this not happen in a court ultimately. I hope that the court will say it's okay, but leave it to the Congress, meaning to the Democratic process, to decide to impose curbs on it. If a court says it's okay, that doesn't mean it has to be. Let the people decide in Congress assembled.
Yeah.
That's what Madison intended.
And they're the ones who are supposed to be, you know, responsible in part for keeping us safe, not exactly the judges. Charles, thank you.
Pleasure.